So today we will be discussing some of the common questions we hear from couples who are just about to start their IVF journeys, considering the do's, the don'ts, and how to change your lifestyle to helpfully improve your chances of falling pregnant with IVF. So some of the first question is we often hear is, what should I change in my lifestyle? How can I improve my chances to succeed with IVF by changing my everyday routine? And it has to do with understanding working with the patients to understand their background, their current healthcare situations, their habits, and analyze their lifestyle to find all these small tweaks that can really make a difference in terms of optimizing the quality of the eggs and the sperm that we get, so that hopefully we have good quality embryos and we increase the chances of pregnancy. So some of the common principles is try to avoid alcohol or reduce alcohol consumption as much as possible. Try to avoid smoking, obviously use of any other recreational drugs. Try to get good sleep throughout the process, as sleep patterns can affect the reproductive hormones significantly. And obviously try to follow a healthy diet. We usually recommend a lean, green, full of protein diet as a standard, and also try to take some general multivitamin supplements to help boost your readiness for the IVF. For the ladies specifically, we tend to recommend having a supplemental vitamin D and folic acid that can help to aid a implanting pregnancy. Now, another common question we get is, does weight and diet have a significant effect? And we know that obesity or being overweight can have a negative impact on both the quality of the eggs and the sperm. Therefore, we do recommend, optimizing your weight, particularly for the lady, before starting the IVF process. A optimal BMI target, it should be less than 30. However, the between 30 to 35, we still have relatively good outcomes. And that is also to improve the chances of having a healthy pregnancy later on when you are in the pregnancy stage. A lot of patients will seek dietary advice where they can work with a dietitian to optimize their diet and aid healthy weight loss before starting an IVF. Nowadays, a lot of our patients are using other pharmacological interventions like a GLP-1 agonist, which can be helpful, but they are teratogenic, so we need to allow a specific washout period before starting an IVF journey. So it's all about working collaboratively with your doctor to make a treatment plan and set up milestones that can lead to a healthy start of your IVF cycle after you've achieved your desired weight loss. And often we hear about the importance of interventions to optimize the sperm quality, and we know that male factor infertility is present in about 30% of cases, and there is a joint male factor infertility in about 50% of cases. So any intervention to optimize the quality of the sperm is of critical importance, and this several interventions can help to boost that, like we discussed, avoiding alcohol, avoiding recreational drugs like cannabis, avoiding smoking, and also reducing excessive heat exposure to the testes area. And this can come from daily routine habits, such as putting your laptop on your lap or prolonged sitting. So a lot of us who work in offices and we sit on all day, or for example, drivers who sit and drive for long hours, this often is associated with an increase in the temperature in the groin that can affect sperm production and therefore lead to lower sperm quality. And finally, wearing loose-fitting underwear and taking general multivitamins, particularly with vitamin E, A, and D, as well as antioxidants, can help to boost the quality of the sperm when we're starting the IVF process. We get asked often about which supplement should I take, and the reality is the research out there is quite grey. There isn't one brand that we would recommend over the other. Pretty much most of these brands have similar composition with varied dosages, so we would strongly recommend using a generic brand that has natural supplements without any additive. A lot of them will have very unclear or unreported additive that could be harmful in themselves, and focusing on the key ingredients such as vitamin E, vitamin A, vitamin D, and antioxidant, and magnesium, calcium, and zinc. As well as folic acid. So all these key supplements will have some sort of evidence to help boost the fertility potential. There are other more bespoke supplements and natural remedies that we sometimes recommend, such as taking melatonin, sometimes to help optimize sleep. But although there is some evidence to optimize ovarian sensitivity, coenzyme Q10, which is a nice antioxidant, has some abilities to improve both the quality of the eggs and the sperm. And in some cases, particularly in women with PCOS, there is some weak evidence for myoinositol, although this is not very well proven. So these are generally the sort of supplements we would recommend, but we wouldn't recommend one brand over the other. We would generally recommend taking something generic, and that is reasonably based on evidence. And finally, we get often asked about what factors can affect the chances of an embryo implanting after a embryo transfer has happened, particularly relevant to lifestyle advice. So we generally recommend to avoid prolonged bed rest. So there is solid evidence by now that bed rest is counterproductive. So immediately after your embryo transfer, you can resume your normal life activity, although we would recommend avoiding strenuous or exercise. We also recommend against prolonged travel, particularly long-haul flights in the first couple of weeks after an embryo transfer until the pregnancy is established. And this is important to avoid any major changes in habitat that can contribute to reducing the chances of an embryo implanting, although this is based on weak evidence. We also recommend taking the supplements that we discussed, as well as progesterone supplementation, as there is good evidence that it helps to aid an implanting embryo. And often we would have screened for any STIs. For example, these need to be treated before starting an IVF cycle to avoid reduce the chances of having miscarriage in the first stage after an embryo transfer. I hope this was helpful, and we hope to hear from you soon.